The richest man in Yuncheng, rape, bankruptcy, keeping a mistress. Any one of these on its own would be a hot topic, let alone all of them combined. Xie Runan and Jiang Shan's names were all the rage online for a time, and the backgrounds of both the Xie and Zhou families were dug up inside out. Soon, netizens discovered a crucial point. The Jiang family's bankrupt hotel had been acquired by the Xie family, with a critical stage involving a bank forcing repayment. Behind the bank was the Zhou family, and it was rumored that Xie Runan's later fiancée was named Zhou Yao. While Xie Runan awaited his second trial, online discussion shifted from the rape case to a conspiracy, with Zhou Yao and her father's names frequently mentioned and debated. Privately, the Zhou and Xie families were locked in fierce arguments. The Xies blamed the Zhous for standing by and doing nothing, even kicking them when they were down, while the Zhous suspected the Xies were implicating them because they couldn't even protect themselves. Now, the arguments were escalating, on the verge of becoming uncontrollable, so Zhou Linhui had no choice but to find Zheng Limin. Dad. As soon as she spoke, Zheng Limin guessed, "You want me to protect the Xie family?" Zhou Linhui instinctively shook her head. "Someone from economic investigations went to see the Xie family yesterday. I'm afraid they might talk recklessly." Zheng Limin lowered his head, sipping tea. "Back then, when your brother partnered with the Xie family, he made an outrageous demand, insisting on acquiring 6 of their 5-star hotels all at once. I warned you then that money could be made, but one shouldn't go too far." Zhou Linhui dared not speak the truth. Things were different back then. When Zhang Yi was still alive, the Zheng family was equivalent to the Zhou family, so Zhou Linhai had no qualms. Even if she had mentioned it, Zhou Linhai wouldn't have taken it to heart. It was clear. If they wanted to bully someone, they would, and who could do anything about it? Zheng Limin asked. "Were you involved in the Chengyue hotel?" Zhou Linhui shook her head. "I wasn't." Zheng Limin replied. "If you didn't do it, no one can touch you." Zhou Linhui quickly pondered the meaning of his words. Zheng Limin's implication was that the Zheng family could protect her. "Then my brother." Zhou Linhui, a woman in her 40s or 50s, was so anxious her eyes turned red. Zheng Limin put down his teacup, his tone as usual. "You've been married into the Zheng family for over 20 years. Even if Zhang Yi is gone, I still consider you my daughter. What I can promise you is that as long as I'm here, no one can touch you." Zhou Linhui met Zheng Limin's gaze. The old man's voice was neither loud nor soft, but it carried immense pressure. His meaning was abundantly clear. If Zhou Linhui chose to be a Zheng family member, he would protect her. If she chose to be a Zhou family member. Zhou Linhui slowly lowered her eyes and after a long while whispered, "Thank you, Dad. Please rest. I'll go out now." Back in her room, Zhou Linhui sat alone on the sofa, staring blankly at the framed photo on the table next to the TV. The photo was of her and Zhang Yi. Throughout their 26 years of marriage, she had always brooded over her inability to have children and was moved and grateful for Zhang Ye's unwavering acceptance. Thus, she willingly gave everything she had until she discovered Jiang Ye's existence. Jiang Yi was 26 this year. This meant that when Zhang Yi married her, another woman was already pregnant with his child. It wasn't that he didn't mind her inability to conceive, he had simply never truly cared about her. All Zhang Yi wanted was the Zhou family's money, and she happened to be the Zhou family's daughter. Her phone rang on the coffee table. It was Zhou Linhai. Zhou Linhui's face was expressionless, and she didn't answer until it had rung for a long time. Zhou Linhai didn't hear a sound and tentatively asked, "Hello?" Zhou Linhui replied, "I'm alone." Zhou Linhai immediately became anxious. "Did you ask?" Zhou Linhui said, "I did." Zhou Linhai pressed, "What did the old man say?" Zhou Linhui looked at the photo 2 meters away, her voice calm and cold. "Find a reliable person to take care of Jiang Yi." Zhou Linhai didn't dare to speak for a long moment. Zhou Linhui repeated, "I said, kill him. Some people should never have existed in this world from the very beginning. He disrupted the ecological balance of too many." Jiang Yi only recently learned that the Jiang family's bankruptcy was connected to the Zhou and Xie families. However, Zheng Limin pushed Jiang Shan into the spotlight not to clear the Jiang family's name, but to use the opportunity to drag the Zhou and Xie families down. It was precisely because of the internet's rampant abuse of Jiang Shan that Jiang Xingyue's anger was further inflamed, compelling him to fight the Xie family to the death. Before Xie Runan could even wait for the second trial, Xie Jing'an was interrogated by economic investigation and various departments in turn. Jiang Shengyue was also summoned for questioning. Online discussions buzzed that Cloud City might experience snow in September, implying a highly unusual and unjust turn of events. If it was indeed a conspiracy, then the Jiang family was undoubtedly the sole victim in this elaborate deception. As for Jiang Shan, she had fallen from a socialite to a kept woman, taken in by the very person who ruined her. No one knew if she woke up in the middle of the night wanting to kill Xie Runan or to kill herself. When Jiang Shan first heard the news, she locked herself in her room for 3 days and 3 nights. Jiang Yi stood guard outside her door for the same duration. Unable to do anything else, he finally resorted to her weakness. If anything happens to you, what about auntie and uncle? After a moment, Jiang Shan replied, I won't die. I just want to be alone for a while. Jiang Yi hated. He hated the Xie and Zhou families, he hated Xie Runan, he hated Zheng Limin, and he hated himself. He had thought that returning to her side would finally allow him to stand in front of her, but instead, he chose to stab her in the back. What he couldn't do 10 years ago, he still couldn't do now. Sitting on the floor, leaning against the door, Jiang Yi hadn't closed his eyes for 2 days and a night. Exhausted to the extreme, his pain was dulled. He softly called out, Shan, actually I. Jiang Yi wanted to tell Jiang Shan everything. That he was actually very cowardly because Xie Runan and Zhou Yao had bullied him relentlessly back then, even targeting his mother, so he got scared and fled. That he wasn't tough at all, otherwise he wouldn't have been an illegitimate child for decades and still shamelessly followed Zheng Limin home. That he was actually very pragmatic, he had long accepted that it was a dog-eat-dog world, and he needed power and influence to have qualifications and choices. That he was actually very greedy. He wanted both to avenge his mother and protect her. That he was actually very cold-blooded, clearly loving her, yet using her as a target. The moment Jiang Yi opened his mouth, the brightly lit room suddenly plunged into darkness. Outside, it was already night, and only lingering shadows remained in his peripheral vision. Whether it was a circuit breaker trip or a power outage, Jiang Yi didn't care. He sat motionless, yet hesitated whether to tell Jiang Shan. What if he told her and she got angry or sad or never spoke to him again? A dark figure leaped through the villa window. The intruder evidently hadn't expected Jiang Yi to be sitting by the master bedroom door. By the time the intruder saw him, Jiang Yi had already spotted the intruder. The newcomer was clearly not there to steal, because the dark object in his hand was a knife. Jiang Yi held his breath, intently watching the window for a second person. In a sudden moment, he sprang up and lunged forward. The man was caught off guard and startled, but his reaction was incredibly fast, holding firm to the knife in his hand. In the darkness, the two grappled, knocking into some furnishings in the chaos. Jiang Yi was afraid Jiang Shan would come out, so he didn't make a sound. Unexpectedly, his greatest fear came true. The intruder wasn't alone. Another person came up from downstairs and, seeing the two grappling in the empty space, quickly moved forward. Everyone saw only shadows, but Jiang Yi was taller. The other man held a knife, but it was difficult to land a precise stab in the struggle. The sounds of the three-person melee grew louder, especially as the two masked men began to communicate. With a click, the master bedroom door lock engaged. Jiang Yi yelled, "Lock the door. Call the police." The man grappling with Jiang Yi immediately said, "The woman's in the room." As his words fell, the other man ran towards the master bedroom with the knife. The sound of the door being bolted and the sound of it being pushed happened almost simultaneously. Jiang Yi saw the man pushing hard but unable to enter, and subconsciously let out a sigh of relief. Even when the other party turned and ran towards him, he didn't feel anything was amiss. What was happening outside, Jiang Shan couldn't see, but she could imagine. She called the police, then opened the window and shouted, "Help! Fire!" Psychology class had taught that in times of danger, collective interest often drew more attention than individual safety, but she forgot that the biggest advantage of this villa area was its extreme privacy, with houses separated by at least 50 meters. She didn't have the guard post's phone number, and in the dead of night, no one responded. It was precisely because of the quiet that Jiang Shan could clearly hear the sounds from outside the door. She knew there were two strange men out there. In the pitch black, Jiang Shan, barefoot, unlocked the door and rushed out within 5 seconds. Several dark figures were in the empty courtyard. Jiang Shan identified the tallest one, then grabbed a vase and forcefully smashed it towards one of the shorter men. During this, her right foot stung as if she had stepped on something. Jiang Shan had no time for anything else, her mind fixated on a single thought. Even if we both die here today, I cannot leave Jiang Yi alone. The vase didn't hit the man's head, blocked by his arm. Jiang Yi sharply ordered, "Run!" Jiang Shan's first strike missed. She then forcefully slashed at the man's face with the eyebrow razor in her left hand. She had never done anything so ruthless in her life, hesitating even as she acted, yet compared to her own death, someone else's death seemed more cost-effective. "Ah!" In the darkness, the man cried out in pain, covering his face with his hands. His scream directly affected Jiang Yi and the other man beside him. While the man was momentarily disoriented, Jiang Yi pushed forcefully, causing both of them to fall. Jiang Shan couldn't spare a moment to help him. She knew the eyebrow razor wouldn't inflict serious injury and the attacker would soon retaliate. Using her familiarity with the layout, she grabbed another heavy ornament and smashed it directly towards the man's head. The man raised one arm while his other hand reached out towards Jiang Shan. Jiang Shan only felt a chill on her arm when suddenly, the shrill wail of a police siren came from downstairs. The man in front of her immediately ran downstairs. Jiang Yi didn't bother to pursue the man, rushing instead to find Jiang Shan. Within mere tens of seconds, police officers came running upstairs through the first-floor French windows. With a flashlight beam, they illuminated Jiang Shan and Jiang Yi standing amidst the wreckage. Jiang Yi merely had blood on his hands, but Jiang Shan looked far more alarming. Half her arm, pajamas and pajama bottoms were covered in blood, and she was barefoot, standing on broken glass. Jiang Yi immediately picked up Jiang Shan. While they were still at the hospital, the police had already learned who was behind the plot from the two home invaders. The most shocking news in Yuncheng circles was that Xie Runan hadn't been sentenced yet, nor had Xie Runan been confirmed to be in trouble, but Zhou Linhai had already been arrested before them for hiring hitmen. Jiang Yi always felt something was off. It wasn't too logical but rather too smooth. He privately asked Zheng Limin, who said, "It was indeed Zhou Linhai who hired the hitmen. However, I discovered those two before they even entered your house. I told them to just make a show and not actually hurt you." Jiang Yi felt no surprise, only fear. Zheng Limin's terror lay not in how much he knew, but in how much no one knew he knew. In October, Xie Runan's appeal still upheld the original verdict. He had been incarcerated for these past few months and had no idea that the outside world had already changed dramatically. Emotionally shattered, Xie Runan lashed out in court, restrained by two court police officers. Lin Xian tried to rush forward to embrace him, but was pulled away by the police. Xie Runan cried, "I refuse to accept this." Lin Xian, crying until she was weak, whispered, "Nan Nan." Xie Runan pleaded, "Mom, you have to help me." Lin Xian stretched out her hand with all her might, just a meter away from touching Xie Runan. Xie Runan also struggled with all his strength, shouting, "Mom, where's Dad? Get Dad to save me. I don't want to go to jail, Mom." In the end, Lin Xian could only watch as the court police dragged Xie Runan away. As for Xie Runan, he had been taken away by the police from his home 3 days prior. It was said that Zhou Linhai had confessed inside about the Zhou and Xie families' joint venture to take over Shengyue Hotel. The case of Xie Runan, Lin Xian, Zhou Linhai, and several high-ranking officials and key personnel in Yuncheng jointly embezzling Shengyue Hotel was confirmed. All officials involved were expelled from the party, dismissed from public office, and sentenced. Xie Runan was sentenced to 17 years in the first trial for massive bribery and embezzlement of others' assets. Lin Xian received an 8-year sentence in the first trial for her involvement in illegal operations. Zhou Linhai was sentenced to 15 years in the first trial for multiple instances of abusing power for personal gain, accepting bribes, and hiring assassins during his tenure. Zhou Linhai did not appeal, while Xie Runan and Lin Xian did. 3 months later, the second trial upheld the original verdict. The Jiang family's long-standing injustice was finally vindicated. The 6 hotels that had changed their names from Shangyu all returned to the family and reverted to the name Shangyu on the same day. To outsiders, it was merely a 1 or 2 day high-ranking hot search topic, prompting a quick glance, a few comments, and a sigh of admiration for those born with wealth, destined never to be poor. Shangyu ultimately belonged to the Jiang family, but Jiang Shengyue would have to use a cane for the rest of his life. Li Bingjie would never again be able to enjoy her wealth with a clear conscience, and Jiang Shan was no longer the Jiang Shan she had been before turning 21. Jiang Shan had just celebrated her 27th birthday this year, not at a hotel but at home with Jiang Shengyue, Li Bingjie, and Jiang Yi. In the kitchen, Jiang Yi and Jiang Shan cooked together. The former genuinely cooked, while the latter's main role was to set the mood, constantly clapping beside him. "Tisk, whose boyfriend is this, so handsome, so good-looking, and so good at cooking?" Jiang Yi had heard the same words many times, but he still couldn't help but put more effort into his cooking. The family of 4 happily ate their meal. That evening, back home, Jiang Shan didn't expect Jiang Yi to conjure up another surprise for her. He turned off the lights and brought out a cake he had prepared beforehand, one he had made himself. Jiang Shan pressed her hands together, closed her eyes, and made a wish. "Jiang Yi, what did you wish for?" "Jiang Shan, I won't tell you. If I say it out loud, it won't come true." Jiang Yi cut the cake and handed it to Jiang Shan. She didn't use a fork, instead putting it directly into her mouth, one big bite after another, finishing the entire slice in 3 bites, then went to cut another. "Jiang Yi, is it that delicious?" Jiang Shan nodded. "I've discovered that if you don't become an official, there are still many things you could be. A chef, a pastry chef, a cake decorator. If all else fails, you could go into the service industry as a male host. I'm sure many people would be your patrons." Jiang Yi wasn't angry. He watched Jiang Shan eat the second slice, then the third, until she started secretly sulking. Just as she reached for the 4th slice, Jiang Yi suddenly pulled out a ring box from behind her back and opened it, facing her. Jiang Shan remained silent, unblinking. Jiang Yi, however, smiled. "Were you looking for a ring?" Jiang Shan instantly burst into angry tears. He knew she was looking for a ring in the cake, yet he had watched her eat 2/3 of it. Jiang Yi raised a hand to wipe her tears. "Given your style, if it were in the cake, you'd say it hurt your tooth, and you'd be in a bad mood and not want to get married." Jiang Shan couldn't help but let out a giggle, having been seen through. Jiang Yi then smoothly slipped the ring onto her finger. I won't even ask if you agree. I can tell you're desperate to get married. Jiang Shan lunged forward, embracing Jiang Yi, kissing him wildly, pushing him down, letting him truly be a groom for once. The next day, Jiang Yi returned to the Zheng family home. Zhou Linhui was no longer there, and he didn't ask Zheng Limin how she had been dealt with. Jiang Yi was in a good mood and said to Zheng Limin, "Grandpa, I want to discuss something with you." Zheng Limin, "Perfect, I also have something to tell you." Jiang Yi, "You go first." Zheng Limin handed him a photograph. The moment Jiang Yi recognized the person, the joy in his eyes simultaneously vanished. Zheng Limin, "Tao Shan, your colleague in your department. Her father is now your direct superior. Her grandfather and I were also very close when he was alive. The Tao family has only this one daughter. I've inquired and the young girl likes you very much. You two are already acquainted, which saves some of the getting to know you period. We'll hold your engagement banquet at the end of the year, and there's a good date in June next year for the official wedding." Jiang Yi listened, then calmly looked up. "I proposed to Jiang Shan." Zheng Limin was even more composed. "The two of you have been together for several years, you have feelings. Take a few days to handle things. This weekend, we'll arrange a dinner with the Tao family." Jiang Yi, without blinking, repeated, "I proposed to Jiang Shan." His tone was heavier, his expression resolute and sharp. Zheng Limin maintained his previous state, calm to the point of being benevolent. "I have fulfilled all my promises to you, avenged your mother, helped you retaliate, and restored justice to the Jiang family. You like Jiang Shan and she has been with you for 2 or 3 years. What more do you want?" Jiang Yi, "I want to marry her." Zheng Limin said faintly, "That's not possible. You don't need to tell me how good she is. I know she's fine and has been loyal to you. Otherwise, if she had hidden that night the 2 assassins broke into your villa, I would never have let her stay with you for another 2 years." Jiang Ye's face turned ashen. Zheng Limin looked at him. "You know how I've treated you these past few years. I am a man of my word. I have helped you realize the wishes you made. So, what about my wish? I have no son. I only hope that my grandson can inherit everything of the Zheng family and have a prosperous future with grand ambitions. The Jiang family can only offer you limited support. What the Tao family can give you is 20 years of freedom from worries. I can't be by your side for 20 years, but your wife can, and the family behind your wife can." Jiang Yi, "I don't want." The moment he spoke, Zheng Limin's expression abruptly changed. "Think carefully before you speak." Zheng Limin's gaze was severe. "It's the same choice as before. I'm asking you one more time. If you want to be Jiang Yi, you can marry whomever you want, and I won't interfere." Jiang Ye's eyes grew hot, and his voice trembled. "Grandpa, I beg you." Zheng Limin, "It is because I am your grandfather that I will help you without reservation when you beg me. If you weren't my grandson, you would never have even seen my face in this lifetime. Only with power and influence do you have the right to make choices. If you have nothing, don't tell me you possess freedom. Freedom without security is a joke. You can only let others bully you, let others suppress you, and let those more capable and competent than you brazenly take everything you have. Family, love, friendship, all the relationships you can name in this world, which one isn't maintained and protected by ability? I thought you had seen this clearly over the past 2 years. Now you're talking such unrealistic nonsense to me. I'll assume you were just emotional a moment ago and won't hold it against you. 3 days, 5 days at most. Sort things out. I don't want to hear any more news of you two being entangled." Jiang Shan separated from Jiang Yi that morning. He didn't call her all day. She felt something was wrong but was afraid he was busy with work. She held out until the evening and called him, but Jiang Yi didn't answer. It was past working hours. Worried, Jiang Shan kept calling. After more than 10 calls, Jiang Yi finally answered. "Jiang Shan, where have you been?" Jiang Yi didn't speak. Jiang Shan grew anxious. "Jiang Yi? What's wrong? Did something happen?" After a long silence, Jiang Yi replied, "I'm sorry. I can't marry you." Jiang Shan was equally silent. After a long pause, she finally said, "As long as you are safe, that's what matters." Xingyue's 6 hotels were all in China, but Jiang Xingyue suddenly moved her whole family to Singapore. 10 months later, Xingyue opened its first hotel in Singapore named Shan. Singapore is both inclusive and complex, home to Chinese, Malays, Indians, and Eurasians. To open a 6-star hotel in such a diverse and intricate place was no longer just about financial power, but more about the influence behind it. When Jiang Shan first arrived, various parties were not particularly friendly towards her, until a powerful local figure proactively extended an olive branch. Jiang Shan quickly found out that this was instigated by Jiang Yi behind the scenes. Now that her new hotel was opening, Jiang Yi again instructed various people to indirectly send 100 flower baskets. The point was not the number of baskets, but the names on them. Each one belonged to someone influential in Singapore. Jiang Shan called Jiang Yi to thank him, unable to see his expression, but could hear the warmth in his voice. Don't be a stranger. If you encounter any difficulties, just let me know any time. Jiang Shan chuckled, teasing. You're too kind. It's so far away, yet you still worried about me. I don't know what to give you in return. I'm afraid people will accuse you of accepting bribes. Jiang Yi, no need to give anything. You already sent a gift for my wedding. Jiang Shan asked. Did your wife like it? Jiang Yi. She liked it very much. Jiang Shan had sent 2 sets of purely hand-embroidered dragon and phoenix gowns, telling Jiang Yi that she had workers rush them. In reality, they were custom-ordered by Li Bingjie 2 years prior for her and Jiang Yi. Jiang Shan curved her lips. Glad she liked them. Jiang Yi didn't immediately respond. After only 2 seconds of silence on the phone, both their hearts twisted in pain. Jiang Shan broke the silence first. I have a guest arriving. You go ahead and be busy. Jiang Yi. Okay, contact me anytime if you need anything. Jiang Shan said without hesitation. Jiang Yi, thank you for helping me so much. It's enough. Let's not contact each other anymore from now on. I wish you smooth sailing and that everything goes as you wish in your future days. Jiang Yi was silent for more than 5 seconds. Okay, you too. The call ended. Jiang Shan hid alone in her office, her nose stinging and eyes burning for less than 10 seconds before slowly cooling down. She was no longer a child, and long past the age of throwing tantrums, whining, or crying to the heavens when she didn't get what she wanted. Now she had achieved what she desired. She had once hoped to be with Jiang Yi, and heaven granted it. She hoped Jiang Xingyue and Li Bingjie would no longer suffer, and heaven granted it. She hoped one day to hold her head high with her own abilities and protect her family, and heaven granted it. She hoped to marry Jiang Yi, and heaven granted it. She had worn the ring he gave her, though only for 24 hours. Taking a deep breath, Jiang Shan opened her office door. When she emerged, she was a dazzling hotel owner, her parents' eyes filled with pride and guests' faces wreathed in smiles. She was incredibly busy all day. That night, Jiang Shan returned home 7/10 drunk, too tired to even shower, and simply collapsed onto the sofa, falling straight asleep. She had a dream. In the dream, Jiang Yi returned to the Jiang family's small apartment, less than 60 square meters, found her notebook, and saw the photo tucked inside. He knew how much she loved him, so he rushed to Singapore to find her. They embraced, and she asked, You're here, what about Yuncheng? Jiang Yi didn't answer, instead asking, I don't want anything anymore and you don't want anything either. Shall we just leave together? Jiang Shan hesitated. Her body jolted, and Jiang Shan woke up from the dream, still on the sofa, awakened by the cold. The dream images blurred, but one emotion remained, deeply etched in Jiang Shan's heart. Jiang Yi had asked her, if they both gave up everything, would they leave together? That night a year ago, Jiang Yi had asked her the same thing. If he didn't marry Tao Shan, would she go with him? Jiang Shan was silent for a moment, then calmly replied, I'm sorry, I can't. So not only did Jiang Yi choose not to marry, Jiang Shan also chose not to marry. It wasn't that they didn't love each other, just that they couldn't. In the adult world, it's not just about romantic love. There are also family, sustenance, interests, dignity. It seemed that no single one of these was cheaper than love. Jiang Shan rose from the sofa, opened the bedside drawer, and took out a Polaroid photo from a book inside. She had started smoking in the past year, and the lighter was at hand. The flame ignited a corner of the photo, and she watched the figure in the school uniform slowly disappear inch by inch into black and red. Just as when she had burned the entire notebook. Back then, she had secretly cried her heart out, but now, she was so numb that she couldn't even manage a tearful eye, as if it had nothing to do with her. Jiang Yi was in his study. He had been suffering from severe insomnia for the past year, opening his eyes at the slightest sound, and these days continued. Then, he stayed up all night until dawn. For the past few months, he had simply been living separately from Tao Shan. He knew this was unfair to Tao Shan, but there was nothing he could do. He could barely get some sleep when alone, but when someone was beside him, his muscles were tensed all night. In the dead of night, Jiang Yi took out 2 bead bracelets from his safe. One was currently valued at 300,000 or 400,000, while the other would be worthless even in the next century. Jiang Yi caressed the beads he had touched countless times. He had wanted to throw them away countless times, but in the end he couldn't bear to. He had wished that those bad kids from school would never appear before him again, and heaven granted it. One day they disappeared, and he never had to see them again. He hoped to see Jiang Shan again, to be able to stand in front of her and do things for her, and heaven granted it. He wished that those who harmed his mother would die a terrible death, and heaven granted it. The Zhou family was torn apart. He hoped Xie Runan would pay the price, and heaven granted it. Xie Runan's life in prison was worse than death. He hoped to be with Jiang Shan, to marry her, and for them to be together for a lifetime, and heaven granted it, partially. As dawn approached, Jiang Yi took the 2 bracelets into the bathroom. He used scissors to cut the strings of the bracelets, and the beads fell one by one into the toilet. He watched with downcast eyes, finally tossing in a diamond ring as well. He gently pressed the button, the water came and went, and there was nothing left. Just like life itself, a short existence, coming and going in a hurry, leaving in a hurry. Jiang Yi was a cautious man. He didn't want Tao Shan or anyone else to ever find these 3 items in his safe. What Jiang Shan wanted was a family of 3, safe and prosperous. Jiang Yi made a wish to heaven, hoping all of Jiang Shan's wishes would come true, valid for a lifetime. End.